Hello, good morning. It is Sunday the 14th of November and it is a Sunday hockey breakfast. I am Matt, I can put my name up, there we go. I'm sorry I'm about 10 minutes late after the normal start time of 9 o'clock. I'm just tired really. I've even gone in my Oilers mug. Normally I would have tea, but I've gone for coffee this morning because I need it. I don't know why. I struggled to get to sleep last night. So I'm a bit bleary-eyed this morning, but that is all part of the Sunday hockey breakfast experience. This is coming live. It is as things are. Mistakes and all, lateness and all, snafus and all sorts. It's all up for grabs. But there we go. If you've not watched this before, the Sunday Hockey Breakfast is one of our free live streams. The two others are there. Wednesday wrap-up on a Wednesday, Well Oiled on a Friday. We have a new website, dafterspuck.uk, which I've been updating. I updated last night with news of a couple of new features for this morning's show. So check that one out. And yes, we're available on Twitter and on YouTube, Daft as Puck. Any idea of the show on a Sunday Hockey Breakfast is just over a bleary-eyed breakfast with some tea or coffee to sustain me having a look at all of the action from Saturday in the NHL. And there was a lot of action last night. There were 14 games and absolutely loads of goals. Had a quick look through all of the highlights, so plenty to pick out. If you're watching live, as always, you can get in contact via the YouTube chat. I will try and put a chat message up. I should have thought of this before. I know I say that a lot on these live streams, but hi on the chat. Wait, there we go. And I think can I bring it up? I can't remember. Here we go. Maybe I can bring this up. No. Oh wait, I need to click it. There we go. Hi on the chat. Now, this is from Restream when it's actually from me. That's not very helpful. But anyway, I can bring chat comments up, so there we go. Exciting on the Sunday Hockey Breakfast. Let's launch in to Nhl Com and see what's been going on. There we go. So, never mind the adverts. There we go. Get rid of that. Lightning point streak at 7. Push Panthers skid to 4. So the Panthers, who got off to that unbeaten run, were the last team to be beaten in regulation time. Have lost 4 in a row. Point wins it for Lightning, yes. Pitnick completes a natural hat-trick. King streak ends at 7, losing overtime to Jets. There's lots to look at. Golden Knights scoring 7. Hurricanes defeating the Blues with a late goal. So let's click on here and go to the scores. And let's start off with Bruins Devils. So this was the early game. I think they refer to it as like a European game, don't they? Because it was 6 o'clock here in the UK. A good game it was too, between the Bruins and Devils. 5-2 to Boston, who improved to 7-5-0. And let's go into the game centre and see what they are talking about. Marchand, Bergeron left Bruins past Devils, combined for 3 goals. McAvoy has 3 assists to end New Jersey point streak at 4. So there we go. Couple of goals for Marchand. Good win for them. Boston, I was really impressed with them, watching them against the Oilers on Thursday night. Really physical, really quick. And that was probably my favourite game of the season so far. I know the Oilers win against the Rangers was an exciting one, but that was probably the best game I've seen this season that Edmonton have been involved with. So interesting to see what the Bruins do this year. They've got the talent, there's no doubt about that. You wouldn't fit, I guess you wouldn't factor them into being the division winners maybe necessarily, but they've definitely got a lot of talent and could go well in the playoffs if they get there. So the next one is Kings and Jets, and this was the story. The Kings won an incredible winning run, but that has come to an end to an extent. 7 wins in a row, but they did at least get a point by this game going into overtime. But it almost didn't, so they led 2-1, but Dylan DeMello scored a short-handed goal to make it 2-2 for the Jets. And then Mark, is it Schieffel? Schieffel, I think it is. I forget how to pronounce that one. Schieffel scored in overtime to give it a win. 32 seconds into overtime. There we go. So good win for the Jets, who are 8-3-3 on the season, and still, an incredible run for the Kings. 8-5-2 now, bearing in mind they've won 7 in a row prior to this game. It shows what a hole they were in to start the season, so they've really put themselves into a good position in terms of, that's a good start. 8-5-2 is a good start to the season, so coming from where they were, they will be very happy with that indeed, I'm sure. A team that won't be happy now, the Buffalo Sabres. Bit of a mad one this, wasn't it? Let's have a look. So Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Sabres 5-4. Back and forth. Here we go. Riley winning it with 12 seconds left. So, Jeff Skinner scored a couple, didn't he, I think? Yes, he did. So, 1-1 after the first period. Then Toronto went 3-1 ahead with Bunting scoring there. Tage Thompson made it 3-2. Tavares with a power play goal gave the Toronto Maple Leafs a 4-2 advantage. Skinner with his second of the game made it 4-3. Rasmus Dahlin made it 4-4. But Morgan Riley with 12 seconds to go, 5-4. So a bit of a gut punch for the Sabres there, coming back from 4-2 down, tying it 4-4, but then losing out on getting any from the game with just 12 seconds left, thanks to Morgan Riley scoring a goal there. Tough one for the Sabres to take, especially after a good win against the Oil on Friday. So there we go, Maple Leafs 10-5-1, and it reminds me, I've only seen the first show of the Maple Leafs All or Nothing, but I need to get back to that because that was good. So yes, we will move on to there. Oh dear, more pain for the Penguins. Look at that, 4-goal period for the Senators. I know the Penguins did come back with 3 goals. 6-3 loss for Pittsburgh. So Batherson Senators defeat Penguins for first win in 7 games. And there you go. If you thought that the Pittsburgh Penguins were going to get into this after a tough start, and it does sound like Sydney may be back. I think they're playing today. He may be back for the next game. But yeah, the Penguins have been going through the mill with injuries and COVID and all of that stuff. And this was an opportunity for them, but an opportunity that they fluffed on spectacularly. As we say, Sanford, Del Sotto, Kelly, Stutzel with the goals. 2 of them on a power play, so just giving away opportunities, really. So 4-0 at the end of the first period. Drake Batherson made it 5-0 with his first of the game. Pittsburgh then came back with 3 goals. Kapanen and Rodriguez with a couple. But Batherson, I thought that was with the empty net. I can't remember. Yeah, but the comeback, they dug themselves too deep a hole to dig their way out of. So, tough times for the Penguins. The Penguins who are, what are they now? 5-4-4. Senators 4-9-1. So a desperately needed win for the Senators, wasn't it? And they managed to get it. Next up, we have Canadiens and Red Wings. And the Canadiens season just keeps going from bad to worse. They did take this one to overtime in Detroit, but then lost it thanks to Larkin's second of the game. Let's take a look. Larkin scores twice, gives Red Wings overtime victory against Canadiens. Wings are at 1 minute 41 for Detroit. Montreal loses Allen to injury. So that is not a good day for Montreal. Despite taking the lead in the first period, Larkin and Suter put the Red Wings up 2-1 in the second. Wideman levelling it up in the third, but Dylan Larkin took the game away in overtime. Bad news for the Canadiens. Next up, Panthers and Lightning. This was an exciting one, another overtime game. And let's take a look. Lightning defeat Panthers in overtime, point streak at 7. Oh yes, this was a great goal at the end in overtime. A long pass up the ice to Braden Point, who streaked through and scored. Lovely finish by him, as you would expect from Braden Point. 2 minutes 13 into overtime, he scored that one. There we go, 7 games in a row with a point for Tampa Bay. And tough one. I mean, fair play to the Panthers. They came back from 2-0 down. Victor Hedman put the Lightning up 2-0. But they got back in. No goals on the third period. So still a decent point for the Panthers. I think they'd lost 4 in a row before this. Am I right? Oh, this is their 4th in a row. They'd lost 3 in a row before this. At least they got a point here. After such a good start to the season, obviously Quenneville having to leave, rightly. They're just trying to get themselves back on track, it feels. A lot of talent there in that Florida Panthers team. But a good win for the Lightning at home in the Battle of Florida, if that's what they call it. I have no idea. Next up, Rangers and Blue Jackets. So, yes, good one here. Panarin with a couple. Kreider with a couple for the Rangers, who win it 5-3. Let's go into the games, and Panarin Kreider helped Rangers surge past the Blue Jackets. The Pontins team got beat. New York winning their 4th straight game. Good win, and frustrating for the Blue Jackets, starting it off with a power play goal, but Panarin leveling it up. They then took the lead again for Eric Robinson, but 3 goals without a response in the second period. Really took it away. Chris Kreider then making it 5-2 on the power play. The Blue Jackets were able to get another goal, but far too little too late for them. So good win for the Rangers in that one. And they moved to 8-3-3. So impressive stuff from the Rangers. We know the talent they've got there with Kreider, with Panarin, with Fox. Blue Jackets still a decent start, 7-5-0. I'm sure they would have taken that coming into the season after 12 games. So not too bad for them, but a good win, 4 in a row for the Rangers. And we move on to a team that can't do anything good by the look of it. God, what a nightmare season that is for the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona loses 14th of 15, 1-13-1 on the season. And Nashville having their luminous yellow jerseys in this one. Roman Josi scoring twice and had a couple of assists. The last goal was a bit of a cracker, really. Josi went through on a breakaway, missed the net, the puck hammered against the backboard, came flying back. He kind of knocked it towards goal and it hit the back of the goaltender and went in. So a bit of a bizarre way to end it. But not exactly that the Coyotes were unlucky here, because they were 4-0 down with that goal. They were able to score on the power play to at least make it 4-1. But tough times among Arizona. The arena situation still bubbles along. Nothing going right for Arizona at the moment. They're 9-5-1. 1-13-1 with the Predators now 9-5-1. And we know the Coyotes have got a young team, but you can't see them really improving anytime soon. Team who needed to improve were the Dallas Stars. They've had a rough time of it of late. They keep seemingly playing well when you look at the highlights, but not getting anywhere. They're able to get a good win against the Flyers, 5-2 here. Hintz Glendening, helping Stars defeat Flyers for first win in regulation. There we go, 5-6-2 for the Stars. Good win for them. Bit disappointing for the Flyers, but there we go. Flyers still 7-4-2 on the season. Then we come to the Sharks and Avalanche. And boy, did the Avalanche put an avalanche on the Sharks. Sharks actually took the lead in this one, 1-0. But that was where the good times ended. Taves, Kadri, Newhook, O'Connor, making it 4-1. Short-handed goal for O'Connor in the second period. A couple more as well. So Girard scores 4 points. Avalanche defeat Sharks. As goal, 3 assists. San Jose gets 7 players back from the COVID-19 protocol. So Lev been, desperately hit by the COVID protocol and having to isolate and all of that stuff. But despite getting those players back, I mean, you can understand that, to be honest. You bring in players back who haven't been able to do much for 10 days or so. Still a good start for the Sharks. 7 wins out of their first 14, sorry. But a good win for the Avalanche. Desperately needed for them. They've really not hit their stride so far this season. But a good win for them, putting some points on the board. And another team who put points on the board. This was an absolute wild one between the Canucks and Golden Knights. Here we go. 7-4. So you definitely got your money's worth in Vegas when it comes to goals. Dadonov and Marchessault power Golden Knights past Canucks, each scoring twice. There we go. Wow. So yes, JT Miller and Tanner Pearson put Vancouver up 2-0. Dadonov made it 2-1, at least on a power play right at the end of the first period to get the Golden Knights back in it. Riley Smith and McNabb then turned it round to make it 3-2 to the Golden Knights. Twice from there, Niels Höglander levelled it up for Vancouver. 3-3 at the end of the second. 4-4 during the third period. But Jonathan Marchessault took the game away. And moved on from there. Deary me. Couple for Marchessault, 9 on the season for him. Dadonov with a couple. So difficult game for the Canucks, isn't it? 5-8-2. Really hit a bit of a lull. And the Golden Knights showing their scoring prowess in this one. Getting a good win. And finally, the final game to look at was the Wild and Kraken. Kraken really struggling at the moment. 4-10-1 after this one. Yes. But how about this? Rem Pitlick with his first 3 NHL goals, a natural hat-trick in a 4-2 win, scoring, finishing that off at the end of the second. What a time for him. And that brings me to my first new feature here, which I like to call Pucky Blinders. There you go, you can see I've been busy, had a busy Saturday making a couple of bits of music and a few videos and all of that. Pucky Blinders, it is my new feature where I celebrate either a person or a team who has had a great performance, and it has to go to Pitlick, doesn't it? Rem Pitlick, first 3 NHL goals in a natural hat-trick for the Minnesota Wild. Team won it 4-2, brilliant time for Rem Pitlick. He's got to win this week's Pucky Blinders. So where does that leave us after the games yesterday? Well, here are the standings from Nhl Com. Carolina 22 points ahead of Washington on 20. In the Metro, Carolina have a game in hand there, so they can extend that. The main story, I have to say, I mean, I was talking about Pittsburgh not doing very well, and that's true, 5-4-4, but the Islanders, they're in a weird holding pattern at the moment on the road, waiting for the new arena to open. I think it's this coming Friday, isn't it? They have their debut against Calgary at the UBS Arena. But 5-4-2, only 11 games played, 12 points. They need to take advantage of being at home when they finally move in. Because, yes, desperately needed for them. Many win streaks, 3 in a row for Washington. There we go. Next up in the Atlantic, Florida. So here a bit of a skid, I thought. Yes. A couple of overtime losses there. 10-2 and 3 though, so 23 points. Toronto now are on a charge with 21. Detroit, good start to the season for them, 8-6-2 with 18 points. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Montreal being kept off the bottom spot by Ottawa. But that is not much of a consolation for the Canadiens, is it? They've played a couple of games more than the Sens as well. So, yeah, difficult period for the Canadiens. Struggling to try and take things back and just allowing far too many goals. 53 goals allowed in 16 games. Is that the most? Probably the Coyotes have let in more than that, surely. Yes, 60. Moving on to the Coyotes at the bottom of the Western Central. 60 goals conceded by Arizona, a minus 37 goal difference. Already this season, 1-13-1. Nightmare for them. But Minnesota Wild, I was livid. The Minnesota lot, 10-4-0, 20 points for them. Winnipeg, good start to the season for them. And Nashville, give them both some credit, are 19 points. St. Louis were the early front runners in this division. They've got a couple of games in hand on Nashville, one in hand on Minnesota and Winnipeg. So the Blues are in action tonight, I think, against the Oil. Is it against the Oil? Yes. So the Oil are playing tonight. So a guaranteed loss for the Blues, unfortunately for them. Avalanche still there, mired in the mid-pack, 6-5-1, but a long way to go in this season, and they're starting to get some players back. Chicago have picked up a bit of late, haven't they? They've got 3 wins in a row. There we go. So 4-9-2 under the new manager, King. I forget his first name. I was going to say Doug King. That may be right. That may be wrong. We shall see. And finally, in the Pacific, so the Oil lost against the Sabres on Friday, but still are up there with 20 points, just ahead of Anaheim, who are on 19, Calgary on 18. The team at the bottom there, unfortunately for the Kraken, it's not going well for them. 4-10-1, they seem to be making, I'm just watching the highlights, they seem to be making sort of the same mistakes, just being a bit too loose in the neutral zone. There was definitely at least one goal yesterday in last night's game where they turned it over. In fact, I think a couple of them were turnovers actually. So yeah, that's the way of things. Confidence is low. You take an extra touch, you hold on to the puck too long, you try and do too much, and it's going to be a long season for the Kraken, but they'll have some good times along the way, and I think that's what they need to concentrate on. I've said this before, don't use Vegas as the yardstick for the Kraken this season. Different situation. Vegas coming in as the first expansion team for a while, very deliberately bulked up and have bulked up in the previous couple of seasons on trying to get some immediate success in a town that hasn't had high-level professional sports before. But the Kraken will come good, I am sure. Just probably not this season. In fact, definitely not this season. Let's just put that there. And that is not a prediction, I shall say. That is just a statement. But we do have predictions now on a Sunday hockey breakfast. And it brings me to the second piece of hard work I put in on Saturday.
Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Woo!
Yes, Ice Maybe is my new feature where I make a prediction, maybe about today's games, maybe about something coming up. And my prediction for today is around the Anaheim Ducks, because they are on an incredible streak. They've won 6 in a row. Really flying at the moment, those Ducks, of course. And the question is, how long is this going to last? So my prediction on the Sunday hockey breakfast is this. Tonight, the Ducks are playing Vancouver, and the Ducks are going to win tonight to make it 7 in a row. I am then going to predict that the Ducks will beat Washington on Tuesday too to make it 8 wins in a row. Only for Carolina to beat them on Thursday. So that is my prediction. The Anaheim Ducks, who have got 6 in a row so far, are going to win tonight against the Canucks. They're going to win on Tuesday against Washington, but their winning run will come to an end at the hand of the Carolina Hurricanes on Thursday. We shall check back next Sunday to see how I went.
Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Woo!
Which brings us to tonight's games. There are 6 games in the offing on Sunday, and they go like this. So Calgary are at Ottawa. You would expect the Flames to come through in that one, but you never know. The Sens may do everyone a favour and beat the Flames. Oilers fan over here. Thank you very much. Talking about the Oil, they are back in action against St. Louis. So that is midnight UK time on a Sunday night. So I'm afraid I won't be watching that one live. That will be a get up early on Monday morning and spend a couple of hours watching that back before starting work tomorrow. So we'll see how the Oil get on in that one. Few injuries for the Oil at the moment. So we'll see how Dave Tippett shakes things up after the loss to the Sabres. Canadiens at Boston. So a couple of teams going back to back here. Boston, as I say, they've impressed me in the games I've seen them so far this season. So that's a tough one for Montreal. But maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need a battle that the Bruins will put in to try and get the best out of them. And I will say, I said this on Well Oiled on Friday night. I watched the Nhl coverage of the game between the Bruins and Oilers because it was on Premier Sports in the UK, so you didn't have any choice. But they were fantastic. They were really good, really enjoyed the game and knew a lot about the Oilers, had done their research, were very fair in their commentary. They wanted their team to win, and that's absolutely fine, but they were, great in terms of bigging up the Oilers when they played well, being very fair to both teams in respect of good play. So, yeah, definitely check out the Boston Bruins crew on Nesson. If you haven't done so already, they impressed me a lot. Very well done to them. Another lot who have impressed me are the New York Rangers. They're doing really well at the moment, so that's a big game. New Jersey at the Rangers tonight. Again, another one at midnight. Also at midnight UK time, Pittsburgh at Washington. So, will Crosby be back? There was some talk that he might be, so we'll see on that. Obviously, Ovechkin out there for the Caps. And a bit like Montreal, you'd look at the matchups and think, well, this is going to be another tough test for the Penguins. But again, that may be what they need. So we'll see how they get on in Washington. And finally, the subject of my ice maybe, Anaheim. Flying at the moment. They are at home against the Canucks. So you would expect a win there, and I've predicted a win. But maybe I've put the kiss of death on the Ducks. We shall see. That one is 1 p.m. I suspect that's the game on Premier Sports, but I don't know for sure. So I could check that for you. I'll check that for you now, because this is a sort of public service I try and do. It's always annoying trying to work out which Premier Sports one you need to look at. Oh, straight away on the site there is Dundee Stars versus Belfast Giants. Sunday 4:30 p.m. So that is in the Elite Hockey League. There we go. So Premier Sports have the Calgary at Ottawa game at 10 p.m. UK time. That is on Premier Sports 1. And then let's have a look. Premier Sports 2 have Pittsburgh at Washington at midnight, and Premier Sports 1 don't have another game. Okay, so that will be your couple of options on UK TV. Calgary at Ottawa, 10 p.m. tonight on Premier Sports 1, and then on Premier Sports 2 it is that right? Yes, Premier Sports 2 at midnight. It's Pittsburgh at Washington. So there we go. And that is a Sunday hockey breakfast. My coffee has somewhat sustained me. I still feel very tired. I don't know why. But anyway, check in at Dafters Puck on the Twitter. I'll be tweeting today about various NHL topics as I start gearing up to the hockey this evening. We've got the Wednesday wrap-up. That's when we're on next, 8 p.m. UK time. Well Oiled on a Friday night, 9 p.m. here in the UK. And don't forget to check out the dafterspuck.uk website, which I will be writing something about the Ducks and my predictions. I'll put that on there today. After this, actually, I'll have some breakfast. I haven't had my breakfast yet. So this is sacrifices I make for all of you out there. I have put off my breakfast. I'll have a bit of breakfast after this, a bit of porridge. I think it's a bit murky outside. May go for a little walk after that, and then write up my predictions. But there we go, and thank you for watching. If you've been watching live, if you're watching on repeat, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that you are reminded when we next go live. Although that will be, I can tell you now, 8 p.m. on Wednesday for the Wednesday wrap-up, the show where we look at all 32 teams and I pick out something, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's funny, whether it's sad, about all 32 teams. So until that time, I am Matt Smith. This has been a lot of fun as always. It has woken me up to an extent, as far as I could wake up by whatever it is, 20 to 10 on a Sunday morning. This has done it. Lots of action in the NHL last night, and I know there's a more limited run of games today with only 6. I'm sure we'll get the same tonight. So enjoy the hockey, whichever team you support, and I shall see you again on Wednesday for the Wednesday wrap-up, 8 p.m. here in the UK. There we go. See you soon.